Vasculitic disorders. We'll discuss some important vasculitic disorders today's lecture. Polyarteritis nodosa, जिसको हम पान भी कहते हैं कभी कभार. It was described in 1866 by Kussmaul and Mayer. It's a necrotizing arteritis of medium-sized vessels. It preferentially involves the vessels at a bifurcation, predominantly involving skin, nerves, mesenteric vessels, heart, and brain vessels. But surprisingly, it spares vessels of the lungs. Pathologically, there is a fibrinoid necrosis of vessel walls with a microaneurysm formation, aneurysmal rupture with a hemorrhage, thrombosis, and consequently organ ischemia or infarction. So microaneurysms sometimes may rupture and will lead to thrombosis, a hemorrhage, and then thrombosis, and it will lead to the organ ischemia or infarction. This is in this picture you can see the vasculitis, particularly the bifurcation of the arteries, and when there's a ischemia or infarction, severe ischemia will lead to infarction. You can see the digital gangrene of the hand over there in this picture. The age, common age, it predominantly was the age of 45 to 65 years of age, and peak incidence occurs at the age of 40 to 50 years. Gender distribution is 2 times more common in male than females, and prevalence of the disease is 3 to 4.5 cases per 100,000 population in the United States. In Europe, the incidence ranges from 1.6 cases per million in South Sweden to 4.6 cases per million in England, to 30.7 cases per million adults in France. So there's a variation of the prevalence in different areas of the countries of the world. So there is a different geographical distribution. It's characterized by necrotizing inflammation without granuloma formation. हमने पहले लेट ऑन डिस्कस करेंगे दूसरे एक वैस्कुलरिक डिसऑर्डर में जो ग्रेन्युलोमा फॉर्मेशन होगा. इसमें ग्रेन्युलोमा फॉर्मेशन नहीं होगा. With severe systemic manifestations occasionally associated with a hepatitis B virus infection secondary to deposition of immune complexes. Most cases of hepatitis B virus associated polyarteritis nodosa occur within 6 months of the hepatitis B infection. Clinical features of the disease are there are some non-specific features, almost same as for other chronic disorders: fever, night sweats, and weight loss. And other features, joints. It may affect the joints in shape of arthritis or arthralgia, sometimes myalgia, an early and prominent feature of the disease. It may involve the peripheral nerves or arteritis of vasa nervosa, leading to neuropathy, which is typically symmetrical, affecting sensory or motor function. So, वैसा नर्वोसा जो वैसे नर्व्स के आर्टरीज हैं उनके अगर आर्टरीटाइटिस हो जाएगा तो उनमें मोटर सेंसरी सिस्टम्स दोनों अफेक्ट हो सकते हैं. एंड मोस्ट कॉमन फाइंडिंग इज द फुट ड्रॉप, reticulars, and these are the ulcers due to polyarteritis nodosa. Most when it in the skin, the most common lower extremity ulcers, usually at the malleolar. There could be palpable purpura, clavidoreticulars, subcutaneous nodules, and sometimes digital gangrene due to severe ischemia. It may lead to digital gangrene. GI symptoms related to polyarteritis nodosa. Diffuse periumbilical pain precipitated by eating, and it may cause nausea and vomiting, acalculous cholecystitis or appendicitis. They are the palpable purpura of the extremities. Some patients present with acute abdomen due to mesenteric vasculitis and gut perforation, with hypotension resulting from rupture of microaneurysms in the liver, kidneys, or intestine. It may involve the heart. So cardiac manifestations are subclinical cardiac involvement is common. Rarely it may cause myocardial infarction. Myocarditis may occur. Renal manifestation, kidney involvement due to multiple renal infarcts causing renal failure, renin-mediated hypertension, and glomerulonephritis. The lungs are usually spared in polyarteritis nodosa. How to investigate this type of patients? Anemia. When you go for the blood CP, you will see low hemoglobin, ESR or C-reactive proteins usually elevated in these patients. There could be leukocytosis. Hepatitis B surface antigen may be positive in 10% of the cases. ANA anti-nuclear antibodies and RA raised in a low titer, but this is non-specific for polyarteritis nodosa. So you may not get ANA or RA positive in these patients, and sometimes rare cases, in few cases you may get it positive. So it's a non-specific. Tissue biopsy will help us. Tissue biopsy, we will take the tissues from skin, nerves, or muscles involved, depending upon the areas and stability. Or angiogram may help us diagnose. It will be diagnostic rather. Biopsy of the involved organ may be necessary sometime. This is a sural nerve biopsy. Yeah, biopsy ली गई है, and this is a specimen of this biopsy. Sometimes we may need MRI. MRA, magnetic resonance angiogram, showing multiple aneurysms with and a narrowing of the hepatic, mesenteric, or renal vessels. Muscle or sural nerve biopsy may be needed. Angiography, microaneurysms and hepatic, intestinal, or renal vessels. We may need ECG or ultrasound because of their acute abdomen or myocarditis or myocardial infarction. So, for the diagnostic purpose or complication of the disease, ECG and ultrasound are needed. And you can see the microaneurysms or the kidneys, and in this picture you can see the multiple microaneurysms, and they may cause rupture, thrombosis, and its complications. American College of Rheumatology diagnostic criteria for the polyarteritis nodosa. In order to diagnose, at least 3 of the 10 American College of Rheumatology diagnostic criteria should be present. In 10 में से 3 होने चाहिए तो हम diagnose कर सकते हैं इस patient को. Most probably polyarteritis nodosa ही है. Weight loss of 4 kg or more, livedo reticularis, testicular pain or tenderness, myalgia or leg weakness or tenderness, mononeuropathy or polyneuropathy, diastolic blood pressure greater than 90, elevated blood urea nitrogen or creatinine level unrelated to dehydration or obstruction, presence of hepatitis B surface antigen or antibody in serum, arteriogram demonstrating aneurysms or occlusions of the visceral arteries, presence of polymorphonuclear neutrophils in a biopsy specimen from a small or medium-sized artery. The exclusive involvement of the arteries with the sparing of veins. तो यहाँ veins की involvement नहीं होती इस disorder में. Arteries, arterioles involvement हो जाती है. The tendency of microorganisms, the absence of lung involvement, the lack of granulomatous inflammation, the absence of associated antibodies, ANA, anti-GBM antibodies, or rheumatoid factor, the association of some cases with hepatitis B virus infections. So, these things should be kept in mind when diagnosing these patients. What complications could arise from this polyarteritis nodosa? Cutaneous ulcerations, gangrene of extremities, organ infarctions, aneurysm rupture. Aneurysmal rupture have been reported to occur in kidneys, liver, heart, pancreas, axillary or brachial arteries, and will lead to the complications of the organ involved. The complications particularly stroke, encephalopathy, myelopathy, heart failure, myocardial infarction, pericarditis, renal failure, gastrointestinal bleeding, bowel infarction, peripheral neuropathy. These are the common complications of coronary artery nodosa. Now, how to treat this disorder? Corticosteroids. The prednisolone 60 mg per day. Some cases may need IV boluses of 1 gram methylprednisolone per day for at least 3 days in severe cases. Cyclophosphamide, in addition to steroids, it lowers morbidity and mortality in critically ill patients. Methotrexate, azathioprine are used to maintain a remission induced by cyclophosphamide. In patients with polyarteritis nodosa who are hepatitis B positive, the treatment is short course of prednisolone along with therapy of hepatitis B virus infection and plasmapheresis. The plasmapheresis usually is carried out 3 times a week for 6 weeks. Now another vasculitic disorder, granulomatous with polyangiitis. वहाँ पहले वाले में granulomatous granuloma formation नहीं था. यहाँ granulomatosis with polyangiitis, इसका पुराना नाम Wegener's granulomatosis था और ये ANCA associated vasculitic disorder है और ये small vessel vasculitic disorder है. यहाँ जो common जो ANCA associated disorders है उनमें ये Wegener's, microscopic polyangiitis and Churg-Strauss. ये कॉमन स्मॉल वेसल डिसऑर्डर्स है और ये ANCA associated vasculitic disorders है. इनके फीचर्स सेपरेट हमने बता दिया मगर इनमें ये फीचर्स तकरीबन कुछ भी फीचर्स ये सारे डिसऑर्डर्स में बाकी डिसऑर्डर्स ये तीनों डिसऑर्डर्स में एक दूसरे से ये शेयर करते हैं. तो कभी कभार हमें प्रॉपर डायग्नोस करने के लिए प्रॉपर नेसेसरी इन्वेस्टिगेशंस की जरूरत पड़ती है. Granulomatosis with polyangiitis, Wegener's granulomatosis, ANCA-associated small vessel vasculitis. The prevalence is around 12 cases per million per year. Common age of presentation is 4th to 5th decade of life, and it's same in both sexes. Prevalence is same in both sexes. Its hallmark feature include necrotizing granulomatous inflammation and passy immune vasculitis in small and medium-sized blood vessels. Vasculitis of small arteries, arterioles, and capillaries. Necrotizing granulomatous lesion of the upper and lower respiratory tract, glomerulonephritis, and other organs may be involved. यहाँ usually इसमें अपर एंड लोअर रेस्पिरेटरी इन्वॉल्वमेंट हो जाती है और इसके साथ साथ कॉमनली किडनीज की इन्वॉल्वमेंट या अदर ऑर्गन्स की इन्वॉल्वमेंट होती है. ये ग्रेनुलोमेटस विद पोलियांजाइटिस के पेशेंट का एक नेक्रोटिक परफेक्ट ब्लस्टर है. sometimes they may present with this type of the lesions. In this picture you can see the common parts of the organs of the body involved. Eyes, ear, nose, sometimes lungs, cavitating lesions may be there, renal involvement may be there, there may be some gangrene of the digits. On urinary examination, may show blood in the urine, there may be involvement of the joints, and sometimes we need abdomen or chest X-ray to see the lesions. It is confining granuloma formation in the lungs, the involvement of the pulmonary vessels. Clinical features of granulomatous with polyangiitis. General symptoms are fever, malaise, weight loss, 90% of cases develop upper respiratory infection. So usually the patient की जो complaint होती है वो upper respiratory, nose, nasal clusters, nasal bleeding, like nasal septum problem that we will discuss later, and we'll see in figures. Lower respiratory symptom may occur in 60% of the patients. Some patients develop both upper and lower respiratory tract symptoms. Upper respiratory symptoms में जो common symptoms है nasal congestion, rhinitis, sinusitis, epistaxis, otitis media, collapse of nasal septum, resulting in saddle nose deformity. ये common है पेशेंट में nasal septum collapse हो जाता है और nose saddle shape ले लेता है. We will see just later. Mastoiditis may be there. There may be inflamed gums. Extrabeverly gingival hyperplasia may be there, and subglottic stenosis and patient may present with a stridor. These are the strawberry gingival hyperplasia. You can see here, and this is the saddle nose. This is a diagnostic feature of the polyangiitis, granulomatous with polyangiitis or vagus. Is septum collapse हो जाता है और ये nasal bed saddle nose type nose बन जाता है. Glottic stenosis is visible here. Lower respiratory symptoms in this disorder are cough, dyspnea, hemoptysis, diffuse alveolar hemorrhage due to alveolar capillaritis, atelectasis with a dullness on percussion, decreased breath sounds, and correctness on auscultation may be there. Sorry. Cough, dyspnea, hemoptysis, diffuse alveolar hemorrhage due to alveolar capillaritis, atelectasis with a dullness on percussion, decreased breath sounds, and correctness on auscultation may be there on examination. The X-ray finding in this order. Other symptoms may be migratory oligoarthritis, and commonly it involves lower joints. Unilateral proptosis may be there, and due to orbital pseudotumor. Red eyes due to scleritis, and there may be P scleritis. You can see the pseudotumor, proptosis outside, and iritis, red eye is clearly visible in this picture. Anterior uveitis may be there, peripheral ulcerative keratitis or purpura. Some neurological features: mononeuritis multiplex, sensory motor polyneuropathy may be there, and it may involve the cranial nerve. So cranial nerve palsy may be the complication or feature of this disease. Cardiac manifestation of vagus, pericardial rupture, myocardial infarction, or sometimes sudden cardiac death. Renal manifestations develop in 3/4 of the patients of granulomatosis with polyangiitis, and the features are hematuria, glomerulonephritis, and renal failure in advanced cases. On physical examination, you may see the crusting, ulcerations, bleeding, or perforation of nasal septum, saddle nose deformity due to destruction of the nasal cartilage. Hypertension may be there, deep venous thrombosis or pulmonary embolia. It can involve veins as well. Laboratory investigations that may support this disease, granulomatosis with polyangiitis. Again, anemia is common there. Leukocytosis, ES are usually raised. If there's an involvement of the kidneys, the renal examination may, urine examination may show proteinuria, red cells in the urine with or without white cells, and red cell causes may be there. Some other investigations, specific investigations, these are the on-call. anti-neutrophilic cytoplasmic antibodies. The C ANCA caused by the 3 ANCA is more specific for granulomatosis with polyangiitis than other types of the granulomatosis with polyangiitis. ये ANCA हम last lecture में discuss कर चुके थे, इसके types और environment कैसे होगी. Approximately 10 to 25% of patients have myeloperoxidase ANCA type. Tissue biopsy in some cases may be needed to confirm diagnosis. Thoracoscopic lung biopsy gives more pathologic changes, granulomas than renal biopsy. Nasal biopsy gives non-specific information, and the renal biopsy will show passy immune glomerulonephritis. यहाँ immunoglobulin complement position नहीं होगी. Usually जो other glomerulonephritis है जब उनकी biopsy हम renal की करते हैं तो usually हमें antibodies या complement position मिलती है, मगर यहाँ passy immune GN मिलेगा. So segmental necrotizing glomerulonephritis with multiple crescent formation. The lung biopsy specimen. Our patient with granulomatosis with polyangiitis. CT test sometime may be needed. It is more sensitive than X-ray. It may reveal infiltrative lesions or nodules or masses or cavities. X-ray of paranasal sinuses, sometimes it may show the sinusitis, sometimes bony sinus erosions may be there. How to treat disorder? First of all, हम remission को induce करवाते हैं कि जो disease को जो failure हो रहा है वो खत्म हो जाए, बंद हो जाए, halt हो जाए. Rituximab with corticosteroids. Prednisolone 1 mg per kg per day, or cyclophosphamide 2 mg per kilogram body weight per day orally with prednisolone 1 mg per kg per day orally. The dose for induction of remission. Cyclophosphamide should only be given for 3 to 6 months to minimize toxicity of the drug. Methotrexate, oral or subcutaneous. With prednisolone 1 mg per kg per day in non-organ threatening or non-life threatening condition. Plasma exchange may be considered in patients with a rapidly progressive renal disease when the creatinine level rises more than 5.6 mg per deciliter in order to preserve renal functions. One thing to important that rituximab and cyclophosphamide both increases the chances of life-threatening opportunistic infection. So immunosuppressive drugs हैं, कभी-कभार immunity बहुत ज़्यादा depress हो जाती है और opportunistic infection patient को हो सकते हैं. Whenever any of the agent is used, prophylaxis against pneumocystis jirovecii with a single strength trimethoprim sulfamethoxazole should be given. ये pneumocystis jirovecii ये HIV का organism, one of the feature of the diagnostic criteria of the HIV, क्योंकि ये opportunistic organism है. यहाँ normally non-writers में body में जिनकी immune system powerful है इनमें ये infection नहीं होता. जब ये हो जाता है तो ये शो कर रहा है कि immunopatient severely immunocompromised है. और इसी तरह जब ये हम ड्रग्स देते हैं rituximab और cyclophosphamide तो पेशेंट की इम्यूनिटी सीवियरली कंप्रोमाइज हो जाती है, इम्यूनोडिप्रेशन हो जाते हैं, इम्यूनोसप्रेशन सीवियर हो जाता है. उन पेशेंट्स के लिए समटाइम they may need prophylaxis against pneumocystis jirovecii with a single dose of the trimethoprim sulfamethoxazole जो हमारे पास एक ट्रेड नेम से सेप्टॉन के नाम से अवेलेबल है. अब मेंटेनेंस ऑफ रिमिशन तो हो गई. अब हाउ टू मेंटेन रिमिशन. Once induction of remission has occurred, treatment for maintenance of remission should be continued for these 18 months or longer. Methotrexate 20 to 25 mg weekly, orally or subcutaneously if renal functions are normal, or azathioprine up to 2 mg per kg per day orally may be given. Rituximab 500 mg IV repeated after 2 weeks and then after every 3 months. Means 3 doses in 3 months. हम दे सकते हैं to maintain the remission. Mifepristone 20 to 30 mg per day is an effective as methotrexate, but it is associated with more adverse effects. Another disorder, again vasculitic disorder, Behçet's disease. It's named after a Turkish dermatologist who first described this disease. It commonly occurs in Asians, Turkish population, and the Middle Eastern countries. The common countries where this disease is common is Turkey, Iran, and Japan. The etiology is unknown. Vasculitis may involve any size blood vessel, ranging from small, medium, or large size. तो यहाँ veins भी इन्वॉल्व हो सकती है as well and arteries के साथ. तो इस disorder में veins और arteries दोनों इन्वॉल्व हो सकती हैं. The prevalence of this disease is 80 to 300 cases per 100,000 population in Turkish, whereas in Japanese the prevalence is around 10 to 15 cases per 100,000 population. The clinical features of this disease are recurrent painful oral ulcers, particularly on tongue, gums, or oral cavity. Genital ulcers are common also in this disorder. Skin lesions commonly are tender, erythematous papular lesions resembling erythema nodosum. The skin lesions may ulcerate contrary to erythema nodosum. Erythema nodosum वाले ulcerate नहीं करते, यहाँ के vicious disease के skin lesions ulcerate कर सकते हैं, हो सकते हैं. You can see the oral ulcers. Here are the oral ulcers, genital ulcers, anterior uveitis. So these are the features of the vicious disease. Again, oral ulcers here. It abscess type ulcers है. tongue पे हो सकते हैं, oral cavity में हो सकते हैं, lips में हो सकते हैं, gums पे हो सकते हैं, anterior uveitis हो सकता है, posterior uveitis हो सकता है, erythema nodosum type ulcers हो सकते हैं, और genital ulcers भी हो सकते हैं इस disorders में. So multiple organs, multiple parts of the body can be involved in this disorder. Now, what common clinical features? Anterior uveitis is associated with the photophobia, building of vision, and red eyes. Posterior uveitis often asymptomatic with significant vision loss later. Posterior uveitis में सामने अगर कोई प्रॉब्लम नहीं होता तो सामने आईज ग्लास एग्जामिनेशन पे, क्लिनिकल एग्जामिनेशन पे नॉर्मल होती है, बट जब हम फंडोस्कोप एग्जामिनेशन करते हैं देन वी कैन डायग्नोस द posterior uveitis. There could be arthritis, non-erosive type of the arthritis, common involving the knees and ankles. The anterior uveitis, and this is the posterior uveitis. Posterior uveitis हम फंडोस्कोपिक एग्जामिनेशन में डायग्नोस करते हैं. anterior uveitis सामने हमें नजर आ जाता है, हम प्रॉपर एग्जामिनेशन करते हैं तो हमें पता चलता है कि this is the case of anterior uveitis. There could be involvement of the central nervous system. Symptoms of CNS members, multiple sclerosis may present as a confusion, sterile meningitis, cranial nerve palsies, sometimes seizures, encephalitis, mental disturbance, and spinal cord lesions may be there. When there is involvement of the GIT, that occurs in 1/4 of the patients, and common signs and symptoms of the involvement of GITs are diarrhea. Symptoms are diarrhea, abdominal pain, anorexia, and there may be sometimes on examination it can be the ulceration of the ileum and cecum. When we go for the colonoscopic examination, lower GI examination, there can be ulcerations of the ileum and the cecum in this disorder. When there is involvement of the large vessels, it may lead to pulmonary artery aneurysms and fatal pulmonary hemorrhages. आप स्टूडेंट्स अपनी माइक ऑफ कर दें प्लीज. Patients may have hypercoagulable tendency causing deep venous thrombosis, pulmonary embolia, and cerebral sinus thrombosis, and patient may present with the features of this disorders. Clinical features are usually self-limiting, may be chronic but commonly remain in remission and exacerbation type, आएंगे खत्म हो जाएंगे, आएंगे जाएंगे, ये clinical features में common है, except ocular involvement. When there is a blindness, that will be permanent. ये रिवर्स नहीं होगी. बाकी जो सिम्टम्स अल्सर्स हो रहे हैं, ओरल कैविटी पे हो, जेनिटल अल्सर्स हो या एरिथेमा नोडोडम टाइप इन्वॉल्वमेंट हो, स्किन लीजन्स हो, ये आते हैं, फिर कभी कभार डिसअपियर हो जाते हैं, फिर आ जाते हैं, रिकरेंट होते रहते हैं. मगर अगर अगर पेशेंट की ब्लाइंडनेस हो गई तो वो फिर रिवर्स नहीं होगी, वो परमानेंट हो जाएगी. There is an international diagnostic criteria for Behçet's disease. उस डायग्नोस क्राइटेरिया के लिए एक तो पेशेंट की ओरल अल्सर्स होने चाहिए, उसके अलावा इन 5 में से 2, सॉरी 5 ओरल अल्सर्स हो गया, 4 में से 2 और oral ulcers with any of the two following: genital ulcers for diagnostic purpose, the diagnostic criteria, eye lesions, anterior or posterior uveitis or retinal vascular lesions, and skin lesions, particular definite skin lesions are the Behçet disease or erythema pseudofolliculitis, and papulopustular lesions. Positive skin Petherga test and oral ulcers, abscess or herpetiform ulcers. इन 4 में से oral ulcers के अलावा 2 होंगे तो हम डायग्नोस करेंगे कि most probably this patient is suffering from Behçet's disease. First Petherga test, when there will be steroid pustule formation within 24 to 48 hours at the site where steroid needle have been inserted into the skin. हम स्टीरॉइड नीडल ले लेते हैं और स्किन पे उस प्रिक करते हैं उससे, और 24 to 48 उसके बाद देखते हैं कि वहाँ पस्ट्यूलर लियन बन जाता है, वो स्टीरॉइड पस्ट्यूलर लियन होता है, वो कोई सेप्टिक ऑर्गेनिज्म वहाँ नहीं होता. तो ये डायग्नोस्टिक स्पेसिफिक फीचर है बेशेस डिजीज का. इन पेशेंट को यूजुअली इनका पता नहीं होता. जब हम पूछते हैं किस तरह के लियंस होते हैं, देन यू कैन गेट द रिप्लाई, यस दे आर डेवलपिंग दिस टाइप ऑफ द लियंस व्हेन दे गेट सम needle prick injuries on their arms or extremities or anywhere in the body. हम कभी कभार खुद ये करके देख लेते हैं, स्टीरॉइड नीडल लेते हैं, इसको अच्छी तरह साफ से वॉश करते हैं, एसेप्टिक मेस लेते हैं, फिर हम छोटी सी नीडल से हम प्रिक कर लेते हैं, एंड आफ्टर 24 to 48 आवर्स हम इसको रीड करते हैं कि पस्ट्यूलर टाइप इस तरह के लियंस आते हैं. ये इसको पेथरगा फिनोमेना, पेथरगा रिएक्शन, पेथरगा टेस्ट कहते हैं, और ये स्पेसिफिक है बेशेस डिजीज के डायग्नोसिस के लिए. लेबोरेटरी इन्वेस्टिगेशन में कोई भी डायग्नोस्टिक क्लियर इन्वेस्टिगेशंस नहीं है, ये हिस्ट्री बेस पे है और पेथरगा टेस्ट के लेवल पे हम डायग्नोस कर लेते हैं, और ESR और CRP लेवल इन पेशेंट में यूजुअली एलिवेटेड हमें मिलते हैं. हाउ टू ट्रीट दिस पेशेंट? कोल्चिसिन 0.6 मिलीग्राम 1 to 3 times a day, को जिसमें यूजुअली हम आर्थराइटिस और आर्थ्रालजिया के फीचर्स में ज्यादा हेल्प करता है. थैलिडोमाइड 100 मिलीग्राम पर डे ओरली. थैलिडोमाइड जब हम देते हैं उसका साइड इफेक्ट है, वी हैव टू बी केयरफुल व्हेन फर्स्ट टाइम थैलिडोमाइड. ये फोकोमिलिया के होता है, लिम्स की एब्नॉर्मलिटी बन जाती है. बच्चों में जो मदर होती है उनको देखते हैं तो उनके जो मदर्स होती है, फीमेल्स होती है, उनके जब बच्चे पैदा होते हैं तो उनमें पॉसिबिलिटी है. तो यूजुअली ये प्रोसेस डिसऑर्डर्स में भी ये थैलिडोमाइड कम इस्तेमाल होता है, मगर रेयरली कैन बी यूज्ड जब हमें वो कोई ऑप्शन नहीं होता. तो Apremilast, a selective phosphodiesterase 4 inhibitor. Corticosteroids, prednisolone 1 milligram per kg per day orally. And severe doses steroid may be given. Azathioprine 2 milligram per kg per day orally is an steroid sparing agent. Treatment for severe ocular or CNS complications: infliximab, cyclophosphamide, cyclosporin are used for the severe ocular or CNS disorders. And thank you. अभी कोई क्वेश्चन हो तो आप मुझसे पूछ लें आपके लेक्चर के मुताबिक. आपके माइक को
सर
जी जी
बेचर डिजीज का काज क्या है, होती क्यों है सर
फिर
काज
से बोले प्लीज।
बेचर डिजीज का?
हाँ, इसका कोई खास काज नहीं, ये अननोन एटियोलॉजी है। इसमें कुछ कंडीशंस में एचएलए एसोसिएशन है, मगर वो सारे जिस तरह हमने भी डिस्कस किया कि डिफरेंट ज्योग्राफिकल लोकेशन पे इसकी डिफरेंट प्रेवलेंस है। कहीं जिस तरह टर्किश में 80 to 300 केसेस पर 100,000 पॉपुलेशन पे हो रहा था, जापान में कम हो रहे थे। मैं एक दो केस में कहीं कहीं कोई एचएलए के एसोसिएशन है, मगर सब में वो नहीं होती, इसलिए कोई खास काज, इसका कोई काज अननोन है। वेस्कुलर काज तो हमने वैसे कहा कि आप कह रहे कोई खास रीजन, ये वेस्कुलाइटिक डिसऑर्डर है। इट्स वन ऑफ द वेस्कुलाइटिक डिसऑर्डर्स वी आर डिस्कसिंग फ्रॉम लास्ट 2 लेक्चर्स। वेस्कुलाइटिक डिसऑर्डर्स लार्ज, स्मॉल एंड मीडियम साइज वेसल्स, ये वो वेस्कुलाइटिक डिसऑर्डर जिसको हम प्राइमरी वेस्कुलाइटिक डिसऑर्डर्स कहते हैं। सेकेंडरी जिस तरह हमने डिस्कस किए थे कि सेकेंडरी जिस तरह एसएलई में हो जाता है, इन्फेक्टेड एंडोकार्डाइटिस में हो जाता है, एक्सेट्रा मुख्तलिफ डिजीज में वेस्कुलाइटिस होता है, मगर इसमें वो डिजीज नहीं, प्राइमरी डिसऑर्डर्स है। और इनमें कहीं स्मॉल, मीडियम साइज, लार्ज वेसल्स हो रही थी इसमें इन्वॉल्व, कहीं आर्टरीज और इसमें जिस तरह इसमें आर्टरीज और वेंस दोनों इन्वॉल्व हो सकती हैं। तो ये वेस्कुलाइटिक टाइप डिसऑर्डर है। और कहीं कहीं कोई एचएलएस की कुछ डिसऑर्डर कुछ कंट्रीज में ज्योग्राफिकल डिस्ट्रीब्यूशन में एसोसिएशन है, वरना सब में नहीं, तो वो भी कोई स्पेसिफिक डायग्नोस्टिक नहीं है।
ओके सर, थैंक यू।
सर स्लाइड शेयर करें।
आपने सुना नहीं मेरा लेक्चर? आप रिकॉर्डिंग मोहम्मद अली रिकॉर्डिंग को स्टॉप कर लें भाई, कभी इनको मैं डांट दूंगा। अब रिकॉर्डिंग स्टॉप करें। जी, कोई क्वेश्चन तो पूछ लें। माइक माइक ऑन कर लें मोहम्मद अली, माइक ऑन कर लें, स्टूडेंट्स का अनम्यूट कर लें।
ऑन सर, कोई क्वेश्चन नहीं बस।
कोई क्वेश्चन नहीं है तो ये रिकॉर्डिंग सुन लीजिएगा,
जी
3
सर।
बार सुन लीजिएगा।
जी सर।
ओके, थैंक यू।
थैंक यू सर।
अल्लाह हाफिज़।